really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard. Which is what, seriously speaking, is all about.
Hi there. On the show today, we're going to tell you why Nigeria is one of the best destinations to go in the world. Have you ever thought about the fact that if you needed to go somewhere in Nigeria, there are options for you? Have you ever wondered, where are the places I can visit? Or have you ever even realized that Nigeria has options? Well, on the show today, I have people who are going to be talking about tourism in Nigeria. And when I take a short break, I expect you to come back with either a piece of paper to make sure you collect all their social media handles and learn as much as possible from the three people that will be talking tourism with me, seriously speaking, today. Yes, welcome back. I have a magazine in my hand that some people might find online, but I have it physically here. It's called ATQ, Africa Tourism. Anyway, when you talk tourism in Nigeria, and indeed the whole of Africa, there's one name that keeps popping up. People may not know his face, but the Traveler's Magazine is something that he does, and I call him the grandmaster of tourism. His name is Ikechi Uko. It's nice to have you on set.
Thank you.
This scarf around your neck, is it standard? Is it a Spanish tradition? Because, I mean, you've been all over the world, literally.
Yeah. I collect scarf, and it's part of my brand identity, a hat and a scarf. So I collect scarf from different countries in the world. So I have lots of it.
Tell me how tourism started. You tell me about riding the trains in the past, because your father was a signals engineer with the Nigerian Railway Corporation, and your wanderlust must have beaten you at that time.
Yeah, I think I picked it up from my dad. His job meant that he traveled a lot. We were born in different towns in Nigeria.
All your siblings?
My siblings. I was the one who was born during my mom's vacation in the East. so that I'm vacation. so
now I see.
Yeah, so we are born in different towns because the signal person moves around all the railway stations. So my dad was very, very itinerant. And though we're all based in one town, then he moves around. So he gave me a pass, a VIP pass, so I could walk into any train station, show my pass, and I got a first-class ride to anywhere I wanted to go. So I was doing short train rides. I would go in the morning, come back in the afternoon as a kid.
What was the thrill for you doing all of that as a child? What was the thrill?
When my age mates discovered girls, and we are partying, throwing parties every time in Enugu where I grew up, I found out I was more thrilled getting to a new place. The excitement that getting to a new town was better than anything else. So I followed all my friends home to their hometown,
villages or wherever they were from.
Area. So I went everywhere. From Enugu, I went to visit everybody's hometown. I knew everybody's place.
What number child are you?
Number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah.
Okay, are you the first son?
No, second son.
So Daddy didn't mind too much about, because you ended up going to study geography. So this, your wanderlust, made you go study geography, I want to presume. I don't know why you did geography up to master's level.
My mom was a teacher, and her favorite subject was geography. So anytime it rained, she would call me out and say, okay, look at that rivulet, that's this. So I had interest in landscape. Now, the first book I remember my father gave me to read was, I think, Sokugo, the man that Ekwensi's book about the Fulani guy who got beaten by wanderlust, and he followed the bird everywhere.
Okay, everywhere, yeah.
And I got Eze Goes to School, so all those African writer series, and they were different towns. So I liked different places, I liked different towns, I liked to tell stories.
So it was inevitable?
Yeah, so I was called to do this.
So the direction I'm going is, so you're not surprised that this is where you ended up. But I'm surprised that you stuck it out all this while, because you've been in tourism since 1998, actively.
Before then?
Okay, that even actively before 98, started doing exhibitions?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
While I was serving, while I was in the north, I met a man who told me, why don't you put all this your travel? Because by the time I was serving, I've been everywhere in Nigeria. I've done all the train rides. In UI, where I schooled in Ibadan, we'll take a train to Mina, and we'll come back. So I was
Were
always...
you still getting the VIP passes then?
No, I wasn't, but train was very cheap. So few kobos you get on the train. So I did that with most of my friends. As a youth corper, I decided that we were going to do train from one side of Nigeria to the other side. Then we got to a particular station, I think Kafanchan.
Did you take a
my friend and I. So we got to Kafanchan. We got tired of staying in the train for like 2 days, so we got off and took a cab back to Bauchi and Kano. So eventually, a friend just told me, why don't you put all this together and write stories about it? Then I love writing sports.
That's how journalism came about.
Yeah, I like writing sports. I actually did stories while serving that was published by The Guardian. They were all about handball because I was an athlete. So, but doing my first travel story about my experience, and Guardian started publishing every Saturday without my even having anything. I sent to my friend, he sent it, then Femi Kusana wrote a note and asked me to come. Do you really want to work in The Guardian or something? And I'm like, oh, I'm good enough for this. I decided to give it a lot more attention. So it wasn't anything casual anymore. And when I was doing my master's, there was a project to do a guide for OAU. They were doing the AU conference in Nigeria, and somebody was going to produce the guide. So he asked the Department of Geography to put together a guide for them. And the lecturers came, oh, who are the two most well-traveled people in the department? You and Sani, an Hausa guy who schooled in Uyo and worked in Ibadan. So between the three of us, we knew Nigeria.
This was in the 80s?
No, this was, 89, 90.
Yes, early 90s. So, I mean, Nigeria then and Nigeria now. So when you see things like railway networks that don't work or roads that don't work, what does it do to you as a person and as a practitioner?
First of all, now, I can't imagine doing a road trip. I can't, I think deeply, any road trip more than 1 or 2 hours, count me out in Nigeria. But then, I did Lagos. I attended all the major festivals in Nigeria. Arugungu, Ovio Sese, anywhere you did the festival, I'll turn up. And I went by road. And I have seen, and there were options. You do the road or you could do train. But today, you have to fly to anywhere. It is... If
the flights exist.
If they don't delay and cancel, you take that for granted. I live at airports. I travel every 2-3 days, so I know that experience. So now I have seen those things disappear. But I've also seen alternatives appear that make it
So it's
easy.
also dismal.
It's actually worse. Traveling within Nigeria now is a lot more dangerous than it was when I started. Okay,
fortunately, I have some young women who are trying to break that kind of barrier. You say it excites you when you see that. Yeah. Before I take a break with you and introduce these other ladies, did any of your children get bitten by the wanderlust bug?
Every single one of them is a traveler.
Plus your wife, she understands this, you're hopping around.
Yeah, now she doesn't travel so much because when we travel, maybe she will travel with me once or twice a year. She's a lot more private than I am. And she says no next time. But I do 300 days a year out of home. So now she does that. All my kids...
So we're lucky to have you here on the set, actually.
Yeah, I had to cancel. I had to cancel Bayelsa to be here. I was supposed to be in Bayelsa today.
Okay. And they can travel. I'll take a break so I can introduce these two young ladies. And when we've talked about that, we shall examine the issue of helping Nigerians understand that even in Nigeria, there are options. And traveling is not a luxury. Would you agree with me?
It's not. It's a necessity. There's something called gap year, and that's the reason why the British rule the world.
So I'll take a break. Thank you, Mr. Uko, for spending the first few minutes with me, and thank you for staying tuned. I'll be right back if you don't go away with my other two guests before we begin to talk the nitty-gritty of tourism in Nigeria.